it feels
little
like
backtracking.
we're a little bit of backtracking here. So it makes sense. One thing I have learned is that you're a bit of a psychopath. I think the Sombra gameplay and just making Eridu absolutely lose his mind. But the thing is like I think I learned a new term. It's called productive, positive psychopath. Anybody that makes somebody who abuses Widowmaker cry a little bit, I think that's a good. I think it's not only a good thing, but just a good thing overall for society, honestly. So you have my respect.
You should know that after Pugs yesterday, me and Eridu ended up teaming up and ranked for like 2 hours. And had
Oh,
a good
okay.
From
Well,
enemies to lovers.
yeah, I'll try to not hold it against you. Eridu legitimately is a crackhead when it comes to Widowmaker if he's uncontested sometimes. Like he's hit shots that literally he looks like a top 500 sometimes. So you are the necessary ankle weight to keep him grounded.
Exactly.
But I probably just don't make a mental boom when he's on my team and make him go Junkrat and just rip tire nothing and
please. And Gregor, got to keep the ball in check.
True. See, you're my two least favorite people. It's I really appreciate you. All right. Well, okay. So tell me your story of like what got you into Overwatch, how long you've been playing, why DPS, why Sombra and Mei and all these other characters. Like, just give me the full breakdown.
Yeah. So I started back at launch in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I played pretty intensely for that summer. But then I started a job. So after that summer, I didn't really play much at all. And then I had kind of a few fits and starts, like sections of months where I'd play a lot more regularly. And then finally, so this whole time I was playing at like internet cafes. And finally one day I was like, I got to get my own computer. So I did. Yep. And that has been like the big change for making a lot of progress. My first love was Tracer. So, when I first loaded up the game, I saw the blink ability one time and I was like, yep, I'm sold. I'm playing Tracer. Yep. I didn't have to try any of the other characters. Like I instantly knew. And then across time, I picked up Widow. I had like a stint where I was playing Cass for a while. All the while, like I'll off roll and play like tank and support just for fun. But yeah, DPS in particular, I mean, I just enjoy the bloodlust of like chasing down kills and not being responsible for propping other people up, but being the one that's expected to carry fights and like pump out damage.
Yep.
So I think I'm guilty of having that like DPS ego that makes for a good DPS player. And then more recently, once I got back into the game, I started experimenting with other characters. Sombrita was to me like an evolved Tracer. Like anything Tracer could do, Sombra could do better. Mm-hmm. This is before the rework. I'm really disappointed in the rework, and I could write like a 50-page thesis on why old Sombra was better, but
lovely.
Well, it was me. And then Ashe similarly felt like a more evolved Widowmaker, just more versatile tools to be able to like take unique types of engagements.
Right.
And also, like, for me, like, hero selection is very much, like, a spiritual thing. Like, I feel a connection to Sombra. Like, anytime I would play any video game, if there was an invisibility option, like in Halo, I would always gravitated towards, like, invisibility, stealth, being sneaky, being menacing. Like, I feel really connected to that playstyle. Same with Ashe. Like, I feel really, like, I like being perched up high, looking down at the whole battlefield, being kind of hard to reach. Like, I feel like a spiritual connection to these characters, and so
that makes sense.
That's a big reason why I play them.
You want to hear a secret? So back when I used to play mixed martial arts, I was saying MMO is the other MM thing. I played in Lord of the Rings Online, and I was really well known for playing the Warg class, right, which is like the stealth wolf class, like the burst class. This was many years ago, and it got to the point where I legitimately was the best in the game at that class. And it was the whole concept was kind of what you're talking about, where it was like a lot of stealth, a lot of surprise, a lot of psychological warfare. It was back in my younger days, and I definitely talked a little bit of trash. And I got cheating accusations, and then I would, instead of like denying those, I would just inflate those. Like I would just lean into the heel villain more. especially with some of the more players that were kind of stupid, respectfully. They were really upset. They hated me. They were terrified of me. I could one shot them, and like before they could even break the initial stun, like the equivalent of like you're hacked and you're dead instantly, basically.
Yeah.
And it was like there was like a lot of like it wasn't like role playing necessarily, but there was like sort of like I enjoyed the fear. Is that like a weird thing to say? Like it was like a fun aspect of the competitive game for like people to be legitimately afraid of me because of that stealth aspect and what I could do to them. So
You already know.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? And it's the same thing with Sombra. You know, it's like where is she? I mean, like even yesterday, I had a replay review with the Genji, and like it's actually crazy how bad his positioning got as soon as there's a Sombra on the field.
Yeah, I was watching some of that, so I saw exactly. I'm like, this is the power of Sombra. Like,
yeah, it's psychological warfare, and you know, it goes both ways. Like, you have to be able to keep your cool, because if you start to lose your cool, you'd start dying literally off of cooldown. But
the amount of toxicity I get, like as a Sombra player, all the time being told that I'm scum, and I'm like, I kind of feed off of it, but sometimes it gets to you, you know. So
yeah, exactly. You can't like, it's hard to find that balance. So okay, makes total sense. Now you've been playing for a while, and at least the time of the forum, it was a little while ago, you were plat. Is that still the case?
I am now comfortably Diamond 3.
What's changed?
I think there was like a lot of slack in like my progress, and then just like over the last month or so, like all of the learnings that I've been accruing just really like clicked and came together.
Yeah.
So weirdly, like getting from Plat 1 to Diamond 5 felt like a huge leap, but then I just completely skipped past Diamond 4.
Yeah, that's just how it works. You know, you just start snowballing, because it's like you said. I like the term that you use. It feels like a lot like rubber band slack, where it's like you create this tension with more that you're learning and learning and learning and learning. Maybe you can't execute all of it. Maybe you're overthinking things right now. But at some point, it just clicks and it zooms. It was like that with me with Sombra as well, because I had this whole I picked up the rework, right, because I wanted to learn how to coach it better. I went from like Masters 2 or 3 with DPS all the way to Diamond 1. No, it might have been actually top of Diamond 2, actually. Like when I had never dropped into Diamond learning a new character. And I stayed in like Diamond 2, Diamond 1 with like a 45% win rate. It was terrible. And then I immediately won like, I think if this was after like 15, 20 hours, I went like 25-3 or 25-4 and snapped into like Masters 4 basically instantly. Because it felt like all those overwhelming things that I was trying to think and process, finally it just like kind of like clicked, and everything just zooms right back in. So.
I'm so sad. I don't know how much you played the old Sombra, but the old Sombra had an even steeper learning curve. Like for me, it felt like it took 100 hours just to like learn how to be effective.
Yeah.
And she was just so much more fun. It was just like 10x the fun. It was like the most fun you could have playing Overwatch, really, because of the creativity. But like dropping down because like switching characters, like I feel that.
Yeah. Well, you're on the way up, or at least you've set yourself up. Now it's like keep moving, keep learning. And then I guess percentage-wise of what you play, how much of the Sombra and how much of it is Ashe, and then even the Pocket may pick.
In the last, let me see. I actually have like my profile.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Well, wait, now I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I didn't hear you for a little bit. I assumed you're pulling up your career profile. Can you hear me now? Testing. Now I can't hear you. Wait, now I can hear myself. There you go.
Okay. It was trying to switch to my phone for some reason, which is crazy.
Weird. Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, so 114 hours on Ashe, 48 on Sombra, and 32 on May.
Okay, so 114 on Ashe.
This is like from the last month and a half. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough. So mostly Ashe, more than I expected. Okay. 3 hours per day, 5 to 6 days per week of practice. Is that mostly ranked?
There's a decent amount of like unranked because I have two cousins that are one is on console and one is just learning the game. So there's a decent amount of unranked. It's actually close to like half.
Mm-hmm. When does that place? Is it unranked, then ranked, or does it just depend on the day and depend on their availability?
Usually when I get started, I always do like 2 games of unranked before jumping into ranked.
Okay. I would, if you can, I would generally try to warm up with something other than unranked, unless it's like absolutely what works best for you, just because it's more efficient. Wait, you're typing.
Okay.
You're typing there. Okay. And then I would do that if I can, and then I would get into ranks as soon as I possibly can. So like, let's say 10, 15, 5, 15, 20 minutes, whatever of warm up. I would prefer if you have you tried deathmatch as a warm up before with Sombra and Ashe?
Not really, like just occasionally.
Give it a shot. See how it goes for like just a week.
Okay.
I would test to see if there's a tryhard free for all lobby available. I would test to see if there is an unranked deathmatch available. If the queue times are miserable or there aren't those available, then yeah, unranked quick play is fine. But just give that a shot for like a week and see how you enjoy it, because that in theory should warm you up a little bit faster. And I'll say one other thing as well, because you're playing a lot of Ashe. Ashe, you've done Vaxa before, right?
Yeah.
Vaxa is a really good warm up for Ashe. Just because it's just point and click for the most part. I would still prefer deathmatch, but Vaxa is really good. So even if those aren't available, Vaxa is also a pretty solid option for any hit scan hero. So I just keep that in mind. So try that for a week, and then try when you're playing with your like socially, just try to front load your training, so that the most important training is happening at the start, when you have like the mental focus and the energy to give it all you got, and then you can just chill with your what you said, your cousins.
Yeah,
you can chill with your cousins afterwards. That's what I would recommend. But yeah, okay, does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, and you've probably heard me say taking breaks between games is good as well, even if it's just like a minute. Getting up from your computer.
I started doing that based on your recommendation.
I feel like I say it every session. I think I actually do say it every session, but it's probably worth it.
It's part of your bingo card for sure.
It's definitely part of the bingo card. Long-term reach grandmaster, short-term get better and continue having fun. Okay. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? Okay, focusing on Ashe specifically, some things I imagine I need to work on are time to bob, getting my bobs out sooner. I'm also not sure what to do with my bob when they have an Ana or Sombra. Actually, I had an idea yesterday about timing. I might do a video on it, but yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. Actually, I guess if we don't get a chance to talk about the Ana or Sombra one, let's actually talk about that really quick. So with Bob, it's really versus Sombra, it's really just as simple as you need to know where she is and know the status of her hack. And as soon as you know that, like you know what it is, right? Like you can't like all of a sudden reposition yourself as Sombra to go hack a Bob. Especially if your hacker was just used. In fact, it's not even a guarantee that you get the hack off. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I look like a total jackass, like running over there to hack the Bob, and then I come out of stealth, and for whatever reason, he targets me all of a sudden. I'm like, crap, So, it's something you could absolutely play on. Now, Sleep Dart is a little bit trickier, but let me check. Ashe Overwatch. I'm 90% certain that this is the case, but I'm going to make doubly sure.
He'll wake up after like...
Yeah, you knew what I was asking.
Yeah. Here's my idea for a buff for Ashe. They need to reclassify Bob as a tank so that he's more resistant to Sleep Dart and getting booped.
That's pretty clever, actually. Yeah, I mean that would be pretty clever. I guess regardless, though, you still have 5 seconds of Bob, right?
Yeah.
In theory, because it's a total of 10. So just keep that in mind. So it's not the end of the world if it gets slept. I think waiting for Sleep Dart can sometimes take too long. You can always put it on an angle or just make sure that you hit her directly with it so that she either sleeps it directly or she gets smoked and then she panic sleeps it, or she does sleep it, but you've knocked her in the air and disrupted the backline anyway. And the value of Bob is still there. It's not like hack where it just completely shuts him down. It's still like it's gonna come back, and they know that in the back of their mind, and so it's still good value. Okay, more body shots. I'm thinking going for headshots too much when body shots will do. Also, don't have our combos down. So that's both. It depends. Like I think a body shot is more situational than a headshot, frankly. because a body shot is, oh, I just need to finish this target, so I'm just going to spam in their general direction and finish the kill. That's totally fine. But it's actually really important that you do prioritize headshots whenever you can, even though it feels like it may not be necessary, because you're going to continue to rank up and improve. And even at the rank that you're at now, there's going to be kills that will not happen with body shots. That they will use cover, or they will get healed, or they will engage on you, or they will disengage entirely. And you're basically, your time to kill has to get quicker the higher up you rank. It has to. And so if your time to kill stays about the same because like, oh, I'm just better at hitting bodies, like at some point, 2 body shots or 3 body shots, it's not going to be fast enough to get kills. So if you're missing, headshots or you're making things a little hard for yourself, we'll take a look actually at your gameplay, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The combos is exactly what we're talking about with the time to kill. And I wish I could tell you that I understood the niche of when to use every single combination. I don't, but you probably should. I do know I would prioritize that on YouTube as fast as I can. There will be videos out there on Ashe combos and Ashe micro. But obviously, like the big thing is just that like it's time to kill, right? Because I can go 1 scope, bam, right, or vice versa, right? That's just going to be faster than me going scope, right? If I can go scope, that's just slightly faster, and again, it kind of comes back to time to kill, right?
Right.
I think it's also right. Right. There's the inverse of that as well. I don't think this does it. Yeah, not quite. But for 150 HP targets is obviously something similar as well, where it's like here. So there's all sorts of like little basically breakpoints that are helpful to be aware of. The big one I would say is just knowing that if I hit a headshot, I only need to hit 2 body shots.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Or 1 headshot and they die. Right. That's a pretty useful one to know. Because most of the time you're going to be starting scoped in. So if you hit a headshot, knowing that I don't have to stay scoped in again, especially if it's like a Genji, right? Like you don't want to be staying scoped in at a Genji diving you, right?
Right.
Like you don't. So, and then even a thing like, okay, like let's say it's like, good one here, May. Do you know the breakpoint for this one?
I do not.
Okay, so here you go. Probably guess that one. That's probably not a surprise, right? But then that might be a surprise, and that's an important one.
Got it.
So our old combo doesn't work anymore. So what you might need to do is body shot at least 1 more scope shot and see what happens, right? So it's like little breakpoints like that you just need to be aware of. And then from there, like you can get more comfortable. What I would say for combos is because there's so many of them, like different ways, just pick one that you think is going to be relevant, which is probably would be the scoped into unscoped, to be frank. I think that's probably your most important combo to know. And then practice that. Maybe even force it in situations when it's not really necessary, just to kind of get the feel of unscoping. Because that's going to feel a little unnatural at first.
Scoped into unscoped. And you said just pick one and practice it.
Yeah, pick one that's going to remain relevant. And I think the scoped and unscoped, like I said, is going to be the most relevant one. The other one would be the alternative one that you could practice as well as the opposite, which would be unscoped into scoped. And both of like I'm going to be honest with you, like the combos are most important versus mobile threats. Because those are targets that you don't want to stay scoped in, like Sombras, Tracers, Genjis, even things like Reapers and so on. You don't want to stay scoped in, even like an Echo, right? So that's when you would do your combo. And that might be like, okay, they have Sombra, Tracer, Genji. Okay, great. I'm going to practice my combos. Tracer's a little bit trickier because of the 150 HP. But even like, okay, what would be the Tracer breakpoint? I think the Tracer breakpoint would be a scoped body shot to a headshot. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, we showed that. So, but there you go. There's your breakpoint to practice. If you hit 1 body shot, I think you hit 1 more headshot. I think I just did that, but I don't remember. Is it 1 scoped headshot? Hang on.
1 scoped headshot will kill her.
Oh no, yeah, 1 scoped headshot. I meant body shot here, and then yeah. So there you go. There's a breakpoint to know, right? You hit 1 scope body shot in a Tracer, she's literally 1 shot away from dying.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Positioning. When I'm teamed up with certain supports, Moira, I can't stand Moira because I often get neglected in the backline and get forced out off angles very quickly. Okay, that's more of a situational thing. Obviously, not having any form of range support is really sucky. But again, like if you're playing with a Moira, she's providing value elsewhere. How are you adjusting around that? How to approach situations when my team is not helping control high grounds. Okay. 8 hours of sleep. Okay. I don't really have anything else from your forum. Do you have any other questions?
I'm sure I'll have more once we get into it.
All right. Well, you want to pick a code to start with here?
I think all three of them are pretty. Colosseo is probably a good one, actually. Let's do Colosseo first.
All right, sounds good.
You'll recognize a familiar face here.
Sadly, yes. That's how it's worth. Eridu or Malga versus Roadhog tank matchup.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the tank matchup was pretty rough here.
Well, the good news is there's lots to farm. The bad news is that one mistake and you might just freaking die. Yeah.
Oh man, this is real, man. It's on screen.
Yeah. It's real. It's real. So first, it's you this time. You're the one getting mocked. So the first thing I would say is basically the idea with Ashe is you kind of talked about it earlier with the Moira. It's like, what can I do when I can't really take a deep off angle because I don't have any pocket and they're on Sombra traits and well, you got to keep in mind that angles are relative, right? If you're a Spylo viewer, you might think that an off angle, appropriate off angle for Ashe is somewhere over here. But you don't really need that level of an off angle, and sometimes it's just not appropriate. In this instance, you could if you wanted to, because there's no real dive threats here, but it's more of the map, remove the glass and all that stuff. So an angle like this or an angle like this is kind of the crossfire you're looking for, where it creates just a slightly open sightline through the staircase, or kind of denies the cover here, or kind of denies the cover there. And more importantly, it makes it so that the enemy team doesn't just vomit every single bit of damage in one spot.
Right.
And that's why you're so much at risk here, because the Hanzo might headshot you and might not even mean to. Right? Classic Hanzo moment. The Junkrat, not the Junkrat, I guess here, but the Zenyatta might throw a right click, or the Ashe might throw a dynamite, or the Ana might throw a nade and hit all of your team, and you've not really established an angle here. So you're thinking like, okay, I've dive targets, I can't really take an angle. Well, maybe you could. It's just a slight off angle. And the same thing kind of goes here, where I don't want you here. I want you left, or I want you right. This is much, much better. Now, you might be thinking, oh, the Roadhog's close. Yes, but for the Roadhog to get to you, he has to walk directly in front of your team.
Mm-hmm. So
as long as you're here, you're scared of the Roadhog? You don't need to be scared of the Roadhog. In fact, you need to be scared where you're at right now.
Okay, yeah.
You're kind of in main. You don't have any real cover. And so this is fine. This is the angle that you want. And this is also where you get a good dynamite on not just Hanzo here, but Ana's there as well. There it is. Bam. Now she has to nade herself. Now she has to get Harmony Orb. Now she has to, AFK or whatever. So these are fine shots here. And this is also fine, right? This is a good angle here. But you need to make that choice much sooner. I don't even think this is necessary. I know you're thinking, oh, Mercy, come with me. But I think that, we're kind of at a 50-50 here. If you stay here, you could continue to pump damage on this Hanzo. You can continue to pump damage on this Hog. And in fact, it's when you leave that the amount of pressure is alleviated. So I'm not discouraging you from taking off angles. I'm discouraging you from taking off angles on this map.
Right, okay.
And not even mid-fight, because you could be like, oh, mid-fight it's okay because I'm going to get to here and hit a huge dynamite. But that's just not an option. I mean, we're talking about this is the path of the promised land that you're going to get there. But by the time you're going to be there, Moses is going to be dead. So what's the point, I mean, that's a long flank to take. So, I was going to say no comment. That's a Spylo move. Main thing there is just take a slight off angle. It's better than standing on main.
Gotcha. Okay, so off angles, I guess I'm learning that off angles can be slight. Because when I typically think of off angle, I'm like, oh, it's more than 15 degrees. It's 30 to 40 degrees. But just it could be 10 degrees and it's still effective.
Exactly. Because think about it this way. Remember where the Ana was earlier? It would have been extremely difficult to dynamite her on that cover from this position here. Gotcha. But you also have a really nice sightline up to these stairs. For example, if they'd been playing this cover here, you would have been tormenting them. But then if we flip the script and we put you here, now you can't see the stairs at all, but you could torment the Ana on the other side. In fact, from this angle, you can also shoot in this little alcove here. But if they're hiding here, you could shoot in this little alcove here. The problem with standing on main is not only are you more exposed, but the alcove here is safe. The staircase is safe. This position here is safe. You kind of see what I'm saying? So it's like you actually give them any corner they want to be safe while also being vulnerable yourself.
Okay.
Whereas if you choose either angle here, you get slight advantages at both your defensive and your offensive properties. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
All right, so I want a dynamite backline right now. Like this is actually so risky. One of the things that makes Ashe unique, especially in the sniper matchups, is you have the equivalent of Storm Arrow, and in many ways better in some circumstances. Okay, you don't have to play Widowmaker right now, especially when the enemy team also has a handful of Widowmakers to throw at you. You kind of get my point?
Yeah. What
you do have is you have creepy dynamite here, a couple of body shots, mini health pack, and again, an off angle, right? You're kind of like, okay, yeah.
Can I ask a quick question about that?
Yeah, please.
I was waiting for Tank to like get back to the fight halfway.
Sure.
Before taking that position on that right side. And
that's totally fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine, yeah. I'm just making sure that you're aware of that, right? And it seems that you are.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I was like not there at that point, and that's like a timing thing. Like I'm curious to understand like positioning in time, right?
Well, you timed it well, right? Really, like I'm teaching before I'm not really looking. That's more my bad than your bad because this is a good angle. This is well timed. The dynamite was there. I might have opened with dynamite first instead of going for the shot, just because that dynamite's really important to hit. And so you want to talk about combos, right? This one of the combos that we failed to talk about is using the dynamite projectile. So in other words, here, obviously it's not like they're blind. They might see the dynamite coming. But if you throw the dynamite here and detonate, you can then immediately fire the shot onto the Hanzo. And off the burst of the dynamite there, if you headshot him, he will die.
Right.
I think it would require like almost immediate healing for him not to die. Depends on obviously how close the dynamite was when it exploded, but in many cases, he will just die. So just keep that in mind. If they're unaware, throw dynamite first is the key thing. Santa's gonna come after you.
Yeah, I was anticipating that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you're making this absolutely miserable for them. This is good. I might even bob here. It's too late now. You had a window there where you could have bobbed, but I think that's okay. So frankly, I like how you played that fight. It just came down to like, if you're slightly better mechanically, something dies. That's all there is to it, really. But the positioning was there. The timing was good. The cooldown usage, even your coach gun there when the Hanzo comes up was good. I mean,
maybe
this is
combo there on the Ana.
Yeah. So this would be. Maybe. I'm actually not sure. Actually, I don't know what the fall off is here, but I'm not sure if an unscope would have killed her there. That might be something to go pry in the practice range. Main thing here is I think once you have your dynamite again and you hear the hog to your left, there's no reason for you to be here. You should coach gun away from the hog and go for the detonation on backline immediately.
Yeah, you'll see that I did not know the hog was there.
Yeah. Okay. If you don't know the hog is there, then that's fine. Eridu's doing Eridu things, and Eridu is doing Eridu things. All right. Yeah, a pretty reasonable fight. I mean, it's an easy fight because you had that nice, juicy high ground. This is a little bit ambitious. Just remember in these situations here, I know you're thinking like, oh, we got to stop cart. Don't. Just cut off the lifeblood. You know? Go find the Ana, find the Hanzo. This is where your high ground is going to be actually useful. Not just because, you don't want to shoot Roadhog, but even if there were squishies here, why would you fight them on neutral footing?
Right.
Why would you not instead try to utilize this high ground and try to find a sneaky way to ruin somebody's day? You know? Just something to keep in mind, because there it is, right? Like, Eridu dies to a total gamble. And, it sucks to lose the fight to a Hanzo that you probably should have killed.
Right.
Well, okay. Keep going here.
You'll see a really ambitious bob that doesn't work here. Doesn't work at all.
All right. Well, this is a tricky spot, where it's like you have no positional advantage. So you have really two options here. You can either just play sniper, hold a good off angle and hit your shots, right?
Okay.
Or you could do what you did earlier, look for an opportunity to coach gun up, go for a brawl, dynamite, bob, something like that. Given the way the fight's going right now, I don't mind this so much. I just mind where it ended up. I don't think this is the best spot for it to end up.
Okay.
Just because it's something that they can pretty easily LOS if they'd want to. I wonder if it would have been better served if it had hit this ledge here.
Okay.
And caught and just off angled from this position here. I don't dislike the bob. I want to be very clear. You made a play with it. It caused a lot of distraction, a lot of disruption.
Yeah.
I took what?
Did not know the hog was pushing me, which cost me. I don't know, where was our tank? He had to back out.
Yeah, he was scared of pushing cart, and yeah, he's a little slow.
Okay.
And honestly, that hog should have died from your bob there, actually, because they had no backline support. I actually think the bob is fine. I really think the bob is fine. You set up on an off angle. You timed it relatively well. The only problem is that you were down one, so it was a little bit ambitious.
I see. Okay.
But I don't think that's even necessarily a mistake. Committing an ultimate in a 4v5 is not really a mistake. It's probably worth going for if you see an opportunity. So yeah, actually, so far so good. And here, I'm not going to lie with you. I think you could ego this. I think you could crouch. I don't think you're going to run into anybody. I know you're thinking timing, but if you could set up, that's gonna be and then when your tank is here, you can actually be ready. It's only bad if there's something that might catch you out. Leave him alone.
I'm afraid of Hanzo. I should not be afraid of Hanzo.
Yeah, well, right, because it will be almost a guarantee 1v1, right? Because if Hanzo's the only guy that can come up here.
Right.
All right. So you need to set up for this backline play. And then the real crime here is that Hog is going to be doing Hog things. Don't bother. Somebody's pushing cart. Where is this Ana? Where's this Hanzo? Where's Zed? Don't bother with this. Your dynamite and your coach gun and your pick potential, you even rotate back this way, but this is terrible. This is probably, besides the first fight off positioning, this is probably the first actively bad decision that you've made so far in this fight, which is a compliment. You've done pretty well for Diamond. I think the bobs were good, the dynamites, the angles were pretty good, the fact that you're thinking about timing were pretty good, but this is terrible.
Right.
You need to be here. You need to be here, or you need to be here. You need to be dynamiting this Hanzo over here. Where did he go? He went underneath. That's my point exactly. I don't even know where he went. He's on cart, right? Somebody's pushing cart. There's an Ana standing out in the open, and you're shooting.
Yep, I'm in the wrong spot.
This is good. This is good.
Now you pointed out.
Right.
Jump scare.
It's good.
I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you, Hanzo.
Yeah. I mean, you played the 1v1 well, right? just spam your unscoped. Obviously, you just need to hit the dynamite, and you would have died sooner. But man, it's actually atrocious that backline was under that little pressure.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then here, just screw off. And now, because of where the robot is, you actually can't really walk forward because their squishies are right there, right? So you got to be really careful. You hear Roadhog on right, you're gonna go left. That's fine. Don't know if I'd use Coach Gun there. He might die. He might die. Oh, no, he doesn't die. Good. I would just keep your distance here, frankly. So, you're I can't see anything. Help. You don't need to see anything here. You can let your team do their thing. You could just back up an off angle here. Or you could, off angle here. You see this?
Yeah.
Just maintain your distance. Don't need to get close. Okay.
Yeah, not my job to be in the mix like that.
Yeah. The last few fights have been a little bit disappointing. Not disappointing, but compared to what you started with positioning wise, not the best angles, getting a little bit too messy, too much attention on the tank, not taking opportunities as presented themselves. Now we're gonna be back in a stalemate here, and this is where, again, you need to be creative, right? Nothing crazy, but holding here is fine. Holding here is fine. You want to kind of have this crossfire where you have your Malga's here and your Genji's here and you're here and your Ana's here and your Kiriko's here and you kind of there's nowhere where the enemy team can really contest the robot safely.
Thank you, Genji. Overcommitted the cage.
Yeah. 3 of the most powerful ultimates in the game. Awesome. Not the best.
So here, okay, so I think I peak a little too early. Okay, a few things.
Yes.
Okay, a few comments about this fight.
Okay.
One, I don't love where my tank sets up because by the time the fight is really like going, he's to my right, like on the low ground. I want him to be where I am if I could choose where he was positioned.
Right.
So I have to adapt to like where he is. I feel like he's in a bad. You'll see in a minute he'll rotate in a really bad position. I don't think I adapt to that well enough, and I like get caught out for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't overthink this one too much. This is just, is your team taking the fight at this choke? Not really, kind of, sort of, right? So then how do you play this fight? Not really, kind of, sort of.
Right.
You shoot some shots, you do some damage, you fish for some picks, you get poked out, you try one more time, but then as they get close, you're going to have to rotate away. Now, where you should rotate is up to you. You could drop to point here and play something like this. Sucks, but maybe it's okay. You could also do the cheeky rotation and rotate literally by yourself and hide over here and off angle from here.
Okay.
When you don't really have a good position, you either do the conservative thing or you do the feed thing. But you choose one of them and you do it quickly. Like right now, you should not be here.
Right.
Because you're...
I know
right, because the funny thing is we talk about like your Malgus position, don't love it, but actually your Malgus properly positioned right now.
Okay.
Because he was poking, distracting, doing exactly what you were, but we can't fight here. Somebody's on cart, right? So it's a 4v5. So at some point we have to rotate back and do something else. Or we do something really cheeky like what Eridu is doing and try to maybe roll the dice and see if we get a kill here. You're doing neither. This is just feeding.
Okay.
This is just either needed to be with your team or you need to be hiding on a more aggressive off angle. So again, when you don't have a good position, either roll the dice for something crazy or play conservative. You either hard bluff or you fold, and you did neither here. And so it was just an inevitable death. It's very specific to this map, but it is something that you're gonna come across more in the future. Okay, you're set up. Yep, you're set up. Okay, let's go. Nice, beautiful. Don't give him the time of day. Unless he's the only thing. But you just got hit by shurikens, and your first response is to look this way. No. These are the targets that you need to be shooting, and also not only that, but these are the targets that will kill you. You need to give this guy respect. And sure enough, our friend Junkrat here, I mean, that is really scary for you. Really scary for you. Give him attention. He deserves it. And then here, now that you know where he is and everything's safe again, don't play patty cake it here anymore. Either drop to this angle here or push up with your team and take an angle here, right?
Okay.
So then once your tank is here, you could even rotate left here. Like you could take the off angle here. No comment? Okay, Bob time when you get an opportunity. You could set it on the off angle here. Or maybe not, actually. Maybe we do. Wait, there's no way. They fumbled the bag.
No, I die here for sure.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. That's 3 ults from them. Don't do it. That angle's available. And the problem with taking the angle now is what?
Taking the angle now. I'm late? Is that?
I don't think so. Because your tank's walking forward, right?
Okay.
But what cooldown would you like to have had when taking a short off angle like this, right? Yeah, this is where Dynamite's peak. Dynamite is actually like the irony of Ashe, and what makes me actually like her a lot as a hitscan character is she is a sniper character with brawl aspects. She's a brawl character with sniper aspects, right? So if you take the angle here with Bob, with Dynamite, with your coach gun, you actually have a lot of tools to win fights up close. Like this Genji can't really contest you. Not immediately, right? So, leverage that, when you have those CDs here. Like, you're kind of doing it even here because you have your coach gun. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Oh, dear. Oh, your Kiriko's feeding. Can't do anything about it. Dynamite's fine. I don't really know if this is winnable here, Ana. I assume you're mashing. I need healing.
I'm just waiting for
Mash the I need healing. if you weren't. Seriously, mash it because it it gives the notification, right? So like it's really helpful for the Ana. Anybody that's like, don't say I need healing, it's annoying. They're an idiot. So yeah. No. Overcommitted. This ultimate's too powerful. Your tank is full HP. He's fine.
Okay.
You also go into this fight like, oh, we're down one, but then your Kiriko comes back, the Bastion's dead, and then you bob. Oh, yeah. You see, it's not even a well thought out bob, right? You just kind of threw it. No.
Okay.
That is a map. You lose this, don't you?
Oh yeah, we do for sure.
Yeah, that's where you lost it right there. Similar situation where it's kind of like you're not really hard holding here. The good news is that you will get the robot closer, so you might not need to totally leave here, but you do need to be very careful here, right? So this is where get out, run.
Okay, so I need to drop down sooner.
Yeah, you needed to drop down sooner. You need to be the sniper again, right? You need to be the sniper again, and like this is unironically a fine position to be.
See, I think I have like a really naive, like you always want to be on high ground, never shooting up.
Right.
Well, in my head, that's wrong.
Right. Well, the idea is that you have to take a position around your team, right? So the problem with where's the high ground off angle that you could play around your team without instantly dying?
Maybe if I was super quick to rotate to that window in the top behind them, but that'd be very risky.
Right, but even then, your team can't see you, right? The team can't help you. Right, okay. So everything again, it kind of goes back to when there isn't really a great positioning solution. You play conservatively, which I guess in this instance would mean the same kind of a thing here, where you could like off angle here. It wouldn't be awful, or you roll the dice, which is kind of what you did. But the problem is that you rolled the dice at whatever HP that you were at, right? This is even a situation where like if they don't give you attention and they ignore you, you could even coach gun back up the high ground and shoot them here, right? There's all sorts of plays that you could be making here. Okay, let's move on to the next code here, if that works for you. What one would you prefer next?
I mentioned like pitching you on a project idea.
Yeah, sure.
Is that something we could switch to?
Yeah. Let's actually finish the notes with Ashe then before we go up. So let's do.
Okay.
Oh, well, looks like you're way ahead of me with your notes then. Let's look at these. I'm going to critique your notes. I'm looking for specific actionable feedback. Off angles can be slight. Open with dynamite. If they're unaware, throw it first. Dynamite plus headshot combo. Get set up immediately. Don't wait. Always be looking for angles under the back line. Sometimes bottom to top shooting up is actually the best angle. I would say it's not so much that, so much as that when there isn't a good position, be more comfortable gambling.
Okay.
Be more comfortable gambling. Because there are going to be times like that's the case. Like Circuit Royale is going to be a great one, right? If we were to look at it, like let's say they're playing Widow Hanzo. You know what I'm saying? On defense, and you're playing Ashe. You're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, I literally can't even peek along sideline. So guess what? Find a sneaky flank over maybe on the bridge over them on first point, right? Something like that, and just peek dynamite, go for something crazy, or second point, like hard flank all the way around behind underneath. And like if there isn't a good position with Ashe, you need to be creative. And the good news is that you have more creative options than characters like Hanzo and Widow.
Yeah, I think I crutch on my Sombra whenever I go up against Widow, so that's kind of hurting me in my Ashe versus Widow.
Maybe. I don't think it's necessarily just about Ashe versus Widow. That was just an example, though. It's like situations like this. Like this isn't an Ashe versus Widow. This is just a really awkward angle, and you didn't really have a solution, so you just looked helpless and then died. And I hate to see that. So anyway, that's all. Okay, yeah, project idea. Talk to me.
Okay. This is actually like I kind of want to like set the stage a little bit. It's like a big one.
Okay.
So it might feel like a lot right away, but I hope.
Well, first off, do you want me to keep recording this? I can pause the recording if you want to.
Oh yeah, I think pausing makes sense.
All right, sounds good.